Hello, my name is Arthur, and in this video I'm going to change directions from Godot and do a little bit of work in GTK in the C language. So my disclaimer, I've only started learning C and GTK around a month ago. So this is going to be fairly beginner and should probably be taken with a grain of salt. You won't be making full-blown programs after watching this series of videos, but what you will be able to make is something like this. So this is my GUI. It is a small beginning at a text type of application. This is what we're going to learn how to make and do it a little bit different than some of the other content, and we'll stick with C language for this because it's the one that I'm learning right now. So what we're going to need for this is we're going to need some icons. So I've made my own icons. I made them in GIMP, and these can be downloaded to come up with the standard icons for a toolbar. So these are our toolbar icons. As you can see, I have more icons in my folder than I have in my GUI because I haven't done that yet. But we'll do that in the video, and we'll look at how to do that. Well, we'll look at how to do most of it, but we don't want to get into too much typing. So maybe a little bit of copy and paste to streamline on time, but to communicate how to do it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. About the only other thing is we're going to be working in GTK 3, and I went with GTK 3 because it's easier to install. I'm working on Linux, so that's the platform I'm on. We're going to take this statement, and just as a matter of habit, I like to paste this on the top of my scripts. And whoops, that was wrong. I want to copy that. Now, it's not necessary when the command has been used in the terminal. I can use the up arrow key to go between the command to compile and the command to run. So it's just a matter of where I open my terminal. I'm going to save to the desktop, so that's where we'll be going. So we'll just start off putting that line in. Whoops, let's do that correctly. So we'll just paste that up here like that as a comment. I'm working in the Exit software. I'm not sure how to pronounce its name. That's as near as I can figure what it's called. It's default in Linux Mint. Linux Mint Mate is what I'm working in. So we'll change the language to C, and I'm going to change my tab spaces to 2. Then let's get into the next lines here. We'll go down a few, and I'm going to space bar forward to 80. So around column 80 is sort of the end of where we want our lines to go. We don't want them to go much past 80. So what I'll do here is I'll use Control Plus, and I'm going to change the text size. The resolution on my video might seem a little bit weird because I'm actually recording in half resolution, so 3/4 of my screen is off of the video. I'll upsize it in post to full resolution, but this way is a little bit easier to read text that I'm typing. So we'll do our includes. We'll include GTK. And we'll include the C string library. And we'll need that later on, but not in this video. We'll give a little bit of space, and we'll start off at main, because that's where you start in C. So in main, because it returns an integer, we want argument C as an int, argument V as a pointer to argv, which is an array. Whoops, that's wrong. There we go. So for the GTK, we need to initialize it, and I'll generally make this the first statement that I make in main, just to remember that I did it. So we'll initialize an argc, comma, and argv. And when we forget to make this statement, it can get a little bit confusing at compile time to figure out why isn't anything working. The other function we need here is GTK main. And right after GTK main, we'll return 0. So that will get us started. Now, we don't want to make everything in main and make main a big mess. So what we want to do, and what I've been doing with this little project that I've been working on, is actually trying to mimic this software that I'm working in, which is just sort of the challenge. Like, I'm trying to learn C and figure out how to make a GUI. So I go, well, what software can I make? And this is what I came up with, is to make a quasi-functional version of this text editor that I work in so frequently. So what it's made out of is we have a window, so we have to spawn a window. Then it has a menu bar, a toolbar, a scroll, and a text field. Plus we have tabs, which in GTK is more or less a notebook widget. So that's what we're going to make, is we're going to start with the window. So we'll make a window. That's good and clear. So that's a nice clear name for our function. Before we do the make window, let's just write the function to close the window. So the function will be void return value. We'll call it close window. And that way it will be in place already for us. So we want a close window function rather than to just call the function directly, because when we close a window, we would have to check our tabs are saved. Otherwise, we'll just be closing all of our work off, wouldn't we? So to close the window, the function called is GTK main quit. And that will make us able to close our window and have a function in place to send that signal to. So More or less what that's for is the signal from this button. So make window will have no return value. The first thing to make is a GTK widget. So the window is a GTK widget, and I want to watch that we type that. It will be pointer to window, which equals GTK window new, and then we want to say that it's a top level window. So GTK window top level, and that will make it the main window. We can set the start position of the window, GTK window set position, GTK window, which is called window, GTK win position center. So that will make it so when the window opens, it will open in the center of the screen. We'll give it a default size. We'll just make it small to start off, and we can change that. And probably this is where I'm going to use magic numbers, but probably that should be constant value that's declared somewhere else. But we'll just throw in the magic numbers. Seems that people aren't too concerned about magic numbers in a lot of demonstrations, so I guess that's getting a little more normalized or something. So we'll set the default size. At this point, we'll do a little bit of copy and pasting just for the sake of time. Now, I really don't like copy and paste especially when it comes to other people's script. But script that I wrote myself, I will end up copying and pasting some. It's a good habit to try to avoid it, though. We can give our window a title. So we'll set its title. We'll paste that into there. So we'll call it my text app. Just like that. And then we'll call the signal to destroy the window. So that is a G signal. Oh, we got bad spelling there. G signal connect. GTK object. The object is a window. Is the window. This is the widget's name. And then we need to make the callback. G callback close window. which is the function we wrote above to close the window, at the function of our choosing so that we can do things that need to be done before a window closes. And there will be no user data returned. So that's the signal. Oh, we're missing one piece here. That's important. It won't know what signal it's looking for. It's looking for a press of the X on the top right hand corner, which is identified as destroy. So that will destroy the window. That's what this button, that's the word associated with that button, I guess, would be the way to look at it. So the thing with a window is a window can only hold one widget. So we need to put a widget inside of our widget that can hold more than one widget. So we need a box that can hold a menu, a tool menu, a scroll window, and well, a notebook, a scroll window, and then a text view. So that's more or less the order. We have window, box, notebook, scroll window, text view, plus the menu bars. So we need to add a box. So we'll go GTK widget. We'll call it VBox. Not to get confused, this is its name. The VBox in GTK doesn't exist that way anymore. It was, oh, I don't remember the word. Depreciated. It's been depreciated. So we'll go GTK box new, because there's no VBox to make. We'll give it an orientation, a vertical, to make it a VBox. Five, I think, is padding. So that's our box. Now we need to add our box to our window. So this is adding to a container. Our window is a container. So GTK container add GTK container. The container's name is window, and we're adding our VBox to the window. Okay, that just about gets us there for this video. That pretty much makes the window. Now down here we'll call the functions to make a menu bar, a toolbar, and then the notebook. But for now, all that we're going to do is we're going to make it so the window shows. So we're going to go GTK widget, show all. So it's going to show everything that we packed inside of window. If we don't spell that right, we don't have a wando. That will just throw an error. Okay, so let's glance through. Not sure I did these tabs right here. That's wrong. I want our tabs and stuff to be right. Here, let's just make sure that we got these things right. Looks like I used spaces instead of tabs for some reason. I don't know what caused me to do that. Let's just shift tab, we'll bring everything back, and then push it all forward, like that. And that, we'll just check for semicolons everywhere, that's my biggest. And everything looks good, so we will save this. I'm going to simply overwrite a existing file on the desktop. I always save as main, and I find that is just easier to do, especially when it comes to things in the terminal. We could save it as abracadabra.c, but that really just increases our typing, doesn't it? So let's see what happens when we compile. Wow, that's a lot of errors. So let's go through these and see what we got here. G-signal connect requires 4 arguments. That's a missing comma right there. Now it's 4 arguments. And I probably shouldn't have put that away like that. Let's see, what is this? That is... I don't know what that's running. We'll close that because whatever it's running, I don't really know. It was probably my GUI was still in the background. G-signal. Let's see, too few arguments to function GTK box new. Let's see, what did we do there? Oh, I see. We don't put that close bracket there. Okay, that'll probably get us there. Typo. Let's see. That window. And I really should move that so I don't have to go so far. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably all of them. Oh, it isn't. That is an awful lot of complaining we got going on. So sometimes this looks like an awful lot of stuff, but it isn't actually as much stuff as it looks like. So it's complaining about G object. Oh, that's why. It's not GTK object, it's G object. Something like that causes a huge stream of errors. So now that compiles. And that's one thing to know and not to get discouraged by when you compile and there's this big stream of stuff like this. That was 2 letters that caused that. So yeah, it's not always as bad as it appears. So we'll run that and see what we get. That's a little bit of debugging and kind of what that looks like in the terminal. So that's our window. Inside of the window there is a box, and inside of the box we'll be able to pack a menu, a toolbar, a notebook, and the other things associated with making this. So we can just close this up now. So in the next video, we'll look at how to proceed forward, and what we'll be doing is we'll call a function to make our menu. And that's a little bit lengthy in typing wise, because if we look at a menu, there's quite a few objects here, right? And yeah, if we view it like this, well, that can be a significant chunk of script. So we're going to look at how to do it and reduce how significant of a chunk of script it's going to be. The one thing we're going to avoid doing, and if we look in this menu, it was avoided largely in this menu, is we're going to avoid nesting. So this is, I'm pretty sure, inside of the menu for this software, this is the only nested button. So inside of the menu items, we'll give children, but we're not going to give children to the children. That's a whole nother bag, and it's a little bit confusing to do that. So we're going to look at how to do these menu items and give them children, but we're not going to give the children, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I'm sure that's clear. But when it comes to writing the script to do that, that's something I haven't actually worked out or figured out how to do exactly. I have an idea in my head for how that would work to go along with what we're going to do in the next video, but I'm not really sure. So yeah, in the next video we will make a function call. We're going to pass the VBox to a function so that the function can load the menu into the VBox. So until then, I hope this video was helpful and clear, and yeah, take care.